If you got Wi-Fi and you wanna make bread, then selling.com is where you should head. Unused internet, man, yeah, I know that.
This is my best friend Corné. He pretty much lives a good life and doesn't take life too serious. Parties, girls, parties. You get the idea. And he plays at a decent level.
This could be the most dangerous knot in the world, so use it wisely. Known as the constrictor, once it binds down around an object, it won't let go. But it does also have some incredible uses. Now to tie it, wrap your line around an object, then cross it over and create this X shape. As you come back around, go over your main rope and then under that X. Now the tighter you pull on each end, the more it will constrict. Use it to tie off loose ends, bundle up sticks or objects, create permanent loops, and fasten objects more securely, along with many more uses. You can remember it as the X knot, but also remember never tie this X knot around limbs or body parts as it's dangerous and won't come loose. This could be the most dangerous knot in the world, so use it wisely. Known as the constrictor, once it binds down around an object, it won't let go. But it does also have some incredible uses. Now to tie it, wrap your line around an object, then cross it over and create this X shape. As you come back around, go over your main rope and then under that X. Now the tighter you pull on each end, the
Erling Haaland will not live up to the expectation. I am so bored because he isn't the player that everybody thinks he is. People are saying that he's going to win the Golden Boot. That is outrageous. It's so disrespectful to the establishment.
Do you know the name of any chess player?
Chess player? I have no idea.
Like, do you know the name of any chess player?
It's the really famous guy, Baker or something.
Baker? Hikaru?
Huh?
Hikaru?
Yeah.
That's the guy?
Sure.
Alright. Do you know the name of any chess player?
I think I know your name. You're on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I am.
Is
I
your
am.
name Anna?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, could I ask you guys like a question?
Yeah, we're kind of in a hurry.
Okay. Do you know any chess player?
Jazz player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you know?
Ray Charles, Dizzy Gillespie, a lot of jazz players.
No, chess.
Chess? Oh,
Yeah,
chess!
chess,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
chess.
sorry. Hiraku, Nakamura, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Oh,
Yes.
French player, the best.
Yes?
Yes. Vive Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Do you know the name?
Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. In fact, the planet is so big that all the other planets in the solar system could fit inside it, or more than 1,300 Earths would fit inside Jupiter. This is the size of Jupiter compared to the largest exoplanet in the universe. This is HD 100546b. The planet is a gas giant with a mass of 752 Jupiters and a radius of 300,000 miles, orbiting its own star every 250 years. The planet is located about 358 light-years from Earth in the constellation of Musca. The planet is so massive that if you wanted to fly once around the planet in a plane, it would take you 5 months. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. In fact, the planet is so big that all the other planets in the solar system could fit inside it, or more than 1,300 Earths would fit inside Jupiter. This is the size of Jupiter compared to the largest exoplanet in the universe. This is HD 100546b.
Do you know that mealworms can eat plastic?
The planet is a gas giant with a mass of 700.
You heard it right. These little guys are like the Pac-Man of the insect world, gobbling up plastics like nobody's business. And the best part, not only can they eat it, but they can also digest various types of plastics, breaking them down with special enzymes in their guts. Just imagine if we harnessed the power of mealworms to help clean up our oceans and landfills. We'd be reducing plastic pollution in no time, so the next time you see a mealworm, give them a little nod of appreciation for their part in cleaning up our planet. Plus, mealworms are just the larval stage of the darkling beetle, which means that they eventually turn into pupa and hatch into these amazing beetles, known for their role in decomposing waste materials and serving as a nutritious food source for many animals.
Within this tank lives a miniature world. There are predators and prey, wind and rain. This desert is a dangerous place, but despite all odds, some animals have evolved to survive. It transformed from an empty wasteland to a thriving ecosystem. To understand the mysteries within, first, we must go back to day 1. It all started when I got the tank, some materials, and a whole lot of cacti. I proceeded to mix up some dirt and then build up the substrate. After placing in some rock, I began to plant the cacti. Ouch! Their spines are extremely sharp and it was a huge pain to plant anything. I added in some final touches and the tank was complete. This will serve as the foundation for a thriving ecosystem. On day 3, I introduced the first animals. These are called isopods. As you can see, I have 2 varieties here, clowns and zebras. After I placed them in, they began to search for shelter. Alongside the isopods, I introduced springtails and buffalo beetles. These 2 detrivores will eat pretty much anything they can find. All of these tiny bugs will eventually be food for a future predator. By day 50, the isopod population began to boom. In the shaded areas of the tank, they would form small little herds. The juveniles looked almost identical to their adult counterpart. Here, you can even see one shedding its skin. While the zebras were thriving, the clowns seemed to have disappeared entirely. On the other hand, the buffalo beetles were taking over. I placed a dead cockroach into the tank to show just how many there were. Soon, there was nothing left but a hollow skeleton. They were running rampant and I needed a predator. I needed something deadly, something fast, something almost as terrifying as my mother-in-law. Let me introduce you to the dune scorpion. He is a vicious predator and will make short work of a beetle or isopod. Do you see that tiny white drop on his stinger? Well, that is a potent venom, and I have to be extremely careful. I picked him up and prepared to place him into the tank. After a gentle love tap, he took his very first step into the new world. Scorpions are almost completely blind, so they don't use their eyes to get around. Within just a few minutes, he managed to take down a buffalo beetle. With a full stomach, he began to search for a place to burrow. After a few hours, his burrow was complete, and it just looked like an ordinary hole. But if we look underground, we can see it is so much more. It is his home. He would spend most of his time here, but as day turned to night, he would emerge. Under ultraviolet light, he will glow a radioactive green. On day 60, I realized the scorpion wasn't going to be enough. The beetles were breeding faster than the scorpion could eat them. I needed to add competition. Meet the blue death feigning beetle. This is no ordinary bug. They have 3 superpowers. First off, they make their own sunscreen. This white powder on their shell will protect them from the desert sun. Secondly, they have a huge abdomen to store water, kind of like a camel. They can last for ages without any water at all. But if a predator tries to eat them, that's where its 3rd superpower comes into play. They are indestructible. Their thick armor will protect them from sandstorms and strong desert winds. I added them into the tank, and immediately, one was making a fatal mistake. He wandered towards the scorpion burrow and then down inside. He was walking towards his doom. There was right now. Was a stalemate. The beetle made his move. He tapped the scorpion and then retreated deeper into his burrow. The scorpion gave the beetle a gentle push and then made his journey back to the surface. That was a close call. I decided to let them be overnight. As the sun began to rise, something extremely rare was about to happen. It was rainy season, and one of the few storms of the entire year was about to commence. The tank began to flood. As the storm faded away, animals began to emerge. The rain brought new life to the desert landscape. This rose of Jericho opened its leaves after receiving water. By day 63, the water area was teeming with life. Hundreds of tiny eggs that lay dormant in the sand began to hatch. The pond was swarming with these tiny white dots that were going to become something incredible. Meanwhile, on land, I figured it was time to introduce a new animal. Here is a Mexican jumping bean, and here are 30 more. These are not what they seem. After I added them in, they began to dance. They seem to roll around mindlessly, but each one is on a mission. Find shelter. They jump to escape the desert heat. It didn't take long for them to huddle under whatever they could find. Now, inside every bean lives a caterpillar. One day, they will emerge into a beautiful little moth. By day 72, life in the